Good morning. This is Wilkey with Startup Trading. It is Monday, April 20th, 2020. It is 8:40 a.m. Eastern Time. Just looking ahead at this week, really nothing going on as far as scheduled news, as far as I'm concerned, that affects the U.S. markets until the 8:30 unemployment read. Then at 9:45 you get flash manufacturing PMI, and on Friday at 8:30 you're going to get durable goods. For notable earnings for this week, Monday after the bell you're going to have IBM that's going to hit the Dow, and then Tuesday after the bell, you're going to have Netflix hit. That's going to impact the Nasdaq for the most part. It'll hit, the S&P a little bit as well, but mainly the Nasdaq. Netflix will report between 4 o'clock and 4:15. So if you were playing Nadex strikes, the U.S. Tech 100 will be affected by this. So keep in mind to either play this the 2 to 4 strike or the daily, and then if you want to do it, but the daily numbers will be probably skewed for this. And then there are some other earnings going on here as well, obviously. So looking back at the last week, right? So if we look at the 5-day, the ES up 3.25 points, the Nasdaq up 7%, the Dow was up 2.25, and the Russell was down 1.5% last week. Looking at just Friday's action, we had that spike up and then come back down, right? The bell opened, traded down into the European close, kind of consolidated around between the overnight low that was established in the Globex session and the European close until getting closer to the bell, then had a little short squeeze run into the bell. Looking at all the indexes, you can see, on Friday, you actually had a little bit of relative weakness in the NASDAQ, right? Look at how much farther ahead the other three were compared to the NASDAQ for Friday. Um, we'll just get up here. So looking at the Dow, right? Only we had basically four losers from close to close. It was Apple, Intel, United Healthcare, and Walmart. From the open, you know, not too many. Notice how we're getting some range brown creeping into the indexes now onto some of the single stocks, but most of them are still in that uptrend coming out of those, you know, lows. Looking at the profile, you can see the distribution: the blue, the overnight; the gray, the bell to bell; and the gold line here, where we closed or settled at 4:15 p.m. Eastern time. So you can see the different distributions that we had, and really you went in and around those. So now, you flushed all those shorts out on Friday, and now you've trapped some longs potentially because they thought they were going out geniuses, and now we've wrapped under them for the most part. We'll get into that right now. So looking at tonight's action, 67.5 points. You can see that we closed up at the highs. Basically, you can see the overnight high was just modestly above. It went up to 75.50, and the which was 4.5 points above Friday's high. You can see that we've completely washed through all of this now. So basically, we have about a 50-point gap down at the moment. If we look at all the indexes, we can see that except for the NASDAQ, right, they've all traded below Friday's bell low now. So the NASDAQ is still has the relative strength, right? It's not even getting below that range. And you can see it's flirting right here with value area low. That's going to be at 87.32 half. So we'll see if we get any traction. Keep in mind that the people that are offsides going into this potentially are the shorts. So we'll see, if they get punished at all, the ones that are holding basically after about 6:15 a.m. Eastern time. We'll see if we can get some continuation on the sequences. So looking at the sequences themselves from overnight, you can see that, this is the bull check on the top right, and this is the bear check on the lower right. So you can see that once, we lost, we come back up, and we've been just, holding down. So really the line in the sand for the session is all the way up at 28.49.75. You might as well say 28.50 if this 28.08 low holds, which is quite a few points up just to still stay in this down sequence. But there'll probably be a reaction, somewhere between 28.33.75 and 28.41.75. Looking at the NASDAQ in a similar scope, you can see that it's just, trickled down. But notice that once we cross under the 38.2 for the most part, it's been solid resistance. So that's going to be at 87.50 now. And then 87.63 half is going to be the line in the sand for the NASDAQ just for the session. And these are just session draws that we're looking at here. So again, looking at the Russell, same way. So you can see once it crossed over the 38.2 is holding it down. There was actually an extension that you're in right now on the Russell from basically 12.11 half down to this 11.90.80 low. And we can watch that and see if it completes or go. But that'll be the first sign that you're seeing any strength come back. And the Russell is the weakest market, so you could actually, put that draw in there. I'm not going to leave it on, but you could just take it right from that down. You could get rid of your study, so you're cleaning it up a little bit. But that basically line in the sand now is going to be at 12.03.60, and with that halfway back at 12.01.10. Looking at the contract, you got the ES dipping below 28.22 now. That was, that Friday's low, and that's right at a profile level that we're looking at here. So the ES really needs to get back above 28.22 or risk. We're going to add in a day trader level in here right now. But basically, coming out to where the shelf is. So right around 27.93, probably give or take let's see, probably give or take 2 points. So basically from 27.90 to 27.95 is what I'd really be looking at here for the support on this one. So the ES again needs to get back above that. If not, it should stay really in this distribution between 27.93 and 28.22 today. Looking at the NASDAQ has just been very clean, right? So we've got the 86.98s holding so far. Below there, I'm not going to throw it on there, but right around 86.26 is the next node down, all the way up to, and remember, it is strong, so you could actually find support at 86.42. Looking at the Russell, so the Russell is going to look just like the NASDAQ, or I'm sorry, just like the ES. So I'm not going to throw another level on here, but 1197.20 is really what you're going to want to see hold. And you can see this thing flares out right here at the peak of 1181.70. That's going to be, one of your first lines in the sand. Otherwise, you could end up moving. We could actually move this down to this valley here, which is 1151.50. I'm going to leave it where it is for today. I'm going to see what kind of reactions we get in here and if we can even get lower. And you got, for the contract so far, developing value area highs 1187.10. So again, first line in the sand is going to be looking to see if you can get above 1197.20. And then this 1222.40 is still going to be resistance. Looking at the Dow, the Dow really went back and forth across this support resistance zone. You can see as it went above it, right? It tried to hold it, tried to bounce back up, come back down here, and did the shake and bake right in between it. So I'm going to leave this band up here for now as well, but that band above is going to be basically from 23,904 to 23,967, and then right now you're struggling with the 23,710, and below that I have 23,560. And then I'm going to add another level in here under this that, if we stay weak, could be hit this week. That's going to be right at 23,391. So looking back at all the indexes and really, what we want to watch today, we can watch those sequences, we can watch those levels we just pointed out. But really, the first thing we want to see is if the NASDAQ ends up being above or below value area high, after the bell, and watch the point of control for the NASDAQ, 87.54, to see if that ends up being resistance as well if we do get any kind of an up move. Otherwise, I would look for potentially between S3 and S4 to trade today for everything except for the NASDAQ, and potentially the NASDAQ, just barely trading maybe S2, which is at 86.08. I hope this helps. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Oh, and if you do like this grid that you're looking at over here for the 4 index profiles, there is a link for that at the bottom of the chart, along with the daily newsletter. Have a great day.